And hello, everybody. Welcome to an all new episode of Holotheatre. As always, you know me, I'm Dan, also known as Detour Tag 1. Joining me from behind the mysterious veil that is his computer without a webcam is Mr. Garrett Larson, coming to you live from Minnesota.
Hey, everybody.
And joining us from very hot, very sunny, but I miss it, California. You know him, you love him, Connor Britton. How you doing today?
Good, Dan. Thanks for having me.
So, Connor, you're on here because, well, first of all, you are the guy who's all in charge of playtesting. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. That's one thing we're definitely going to talk about tonight. Going through, like, because without you and anybody who volunteers to be a playtester, we wouldn't have Set 22.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot of people involved in it, just an insane amount of work. And playtesting is just but one part of it. So it's exciting to see a new set released because it's people get to play with new cards, but also it's like we did it. We got it out.
Yeah, I can imagine. And but on top of that, you were one of the individuals who were in one of the design pods that designed this new, what do you want to call it? Hoth objective, Walker objective.
Yeah. Walkers.
What do you guys call it?
Walkers is the easiest. The objective name went through a couple of iterations, but Walkers was always just the thing that identified it the most. Mm-hmm. So now I think the old Walkers deck is now fifth marker SSA.
So you guys took the title because you had the objective
now. Yeah, exactly. Once you have an objective, you're official.
I mean, I'll give you that one. I think Walkers is the objective, and SSA Walkers is the non-objective. I think you got to have that SSA in there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? That's fair. So
we'll get more into the differences between the decks later, but yeah.
We got to
good distinction. You got to distinguish.
We got to do the normal stuff. We got to talk about what's coming up in Star Wars CCG because, even though this is a month without the OCS, sorry Tom, there's still a lot going on. Let's actually talk about the OCS because that's like the first thing that I have open. So to start off, we have our top 16 already for the OCS playoffs. First of all, we have Brad Kipple as our number 1 seed. Tom Struther, he's the number 2 seed. Sam Tashima is number 3. Mike Kessling is 4. 5 is Drew Lichtenstein. 6 is Justin Branch. Chris Werfs at number 7. Timo Dussel at 8. I'm going to blank on his actual name. Who is Stimpy? He's probably in the chat. You're like, really?
I'll know it when I see it.
Yeah.
And I'm spacing on it right now. It's.
I'm putting it up now.
I'll look for it so I can correct myself, but he is our number 9 seed. Mike Pistone at number 10. Jared at 11. Jeff Levine at 12. Matt Harrison Trainer at 13. Gavin Ortland at 14. And then you have, and don't get me wrong, they're 2 really good players, but I'm kind of shocked to see Joe Olsen at 15 and Justin Desai at 16.
Was it? Well, I mean, I know for Justin, I think he only played in this month's OCS, and he qualified just off of the month.
Yeah, so and he ended up going up. He went at 11-1.
Well, shocker, right? Yeah. And then Joe, I think, was probably in the same bag. I don't know. I just don't remember seeing him on the tables as much, but
I think Joe might have qualified and then just sort of stopped.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I can see
pushing. And he qualified and then started doing Worlds Prep and stuff, and that was. I think that's where the record comes in, is they just didn't play enough games, and
that's fair. I mean, but the thing is, like, I play 12 game each month just because one, the foils are amazing and I want to hoard them hoard them. But on top of that, like, it's good practice. And
I think once you have multiple world championships, you're a little less concerned about getting all the practice and a little less concerned about all the shinies. Like both Joe and Justin try not to play with foils, along with Hayes. I know they're 3 guys who I know try not to do a lot with foils. So like, I'll just sit and have my shiny non-world champion decks. Thank you very much. I like pretty things.
I mean, I'm a shiny fan. Like,
yeah, I mean, they do look really, really cool. So, and at the end of the day, if you have extras,
yes,
you know someone's going to trade for them.
I have a bunch of extras, and I'm so willing to trade a lot of them. Also, just for namesakes and to correct ourselves, Bill, I'm sorry, I forgot you were Stimpy. So Bill Pullman is our number 9 seed. So we know that Chris Schoenthal is going to be hosting his top draft here. He's last time I checked with him, he was driving home from Vegas, so it might be a little like he's going to look and see when he can do it, when the logistics can be done. But who do you think are like? What do you want to see like pairings wise? Let's talk about this really quick.
Well, it'll be interesting because who's going to go out of their way to pick Joe and Desai? Wouldn't it be kind of funny if they just didn't get picked and were the default matchup?
I actually kind of like that. Like, that to me is like the best scenario. Like Joe and Desai, Joe having 2 world champs, Justin having 3. Like, I don't think they've played in a tournament in a while.
That would be great.
That would be great. Let's make it happen. Everybody watching, let's make that happen. But I think if you're Brad, I mean, and this is against anybody again. Like, I think if you're Brad, it's either going to be Pistone or Bill as like the number 1 pick. Tom, I think, can just pick anybody and say, let's have fun. Sam, again, it could be Sam at number 3 is kind of like that interesting one. And I know last year my Kessling picked Drew. I don't think they're going to do that again.
That's interesting. I forgot about that.
I mean, I don't think there's any easy outs there.
No.
But like, it's you have 16 very good players, and I'm going to be definitely looking forward to streaming as many of those games as possible, just to, because it's fun to watch good Star Wars and watch good players play. But like, I can't look at that list, and I'm not a terrible player, and I'm looking at the list going, I don't really want to play any of these guys. Like, even if I can beat them, and I've beaten some of them before, like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
None of them are an easy out. So, like, at that point, I think some of them are just going to have to go, like, are there matchups that maybe we just don't, necessarily know, that maybe they're just more comfortable with, like, that play style, and like Sam plays a ton of QMC. Like, he's got the 3rd pick. Is he going to look at these guys and go, all right, who tends to play a lot of decks that are weak against QMC because maybe they're not going to be as ready to or as able to play against a good QMC played by a good player. And I think that's where you're going to see some of the picks get made, is some of that, deep in the meta, because there's no soft, there's no soft outs anymore in Star Wars. There's,
this guy.
Well, you're always on the camera. Like, you're soft out because you're the buy. Like, you're not even playing, so we're good there.
Yeah, I mean, I literally, have said I don't want to play really competitive this year up to Worlds. Now I'm kind of like trying to get ready for the Endor Grand Prix, but that's besides the point. No, I mean, there's a reason why each of these players have made the top 16. They had either like first of all, anybody who qualifies in a month, the fact you have to go 11-1 or better, which is just insane. Like 10-2
So
half the time is just not good enough.
Qualifying on any given month is just so hard, and you know, it's a funny format because, you know, month by month it's a wide open field. You could go against anything, but now in the top 16, you know exactly who you're playing. You don't know what they're going to play, but you have to now choose who you're going to play. You know, that decision when I've been in the past has been just like, I've not enjoyed it at all, just because no matter what, you're going to play someone who's really good, and you can just psych yourself out so easily being like, well, what if they play this? They're probably going to do this. And, you know, so, you know, I think one of the things I like to do, if, you know, when I'm lucky enough to get in, is even luckier to get a choice. I think that's only happened once. You know, I just like to pick people who I know will be fun, you know, that I won't like hate myself for losing, and I'll enjoy the game. There will be opportunities for, you know, good natured, you know, conversation, all that. So
like looking at this right now, I will say like one match that I think might happen just because it's convenience is the Justin Branch versus Timo Dusel match. I mean,
the Euro,
the entire EU in the first round. I mean, to me, it's a little bit convenient, and I know Timo and Justin have a little bit of a rivalry, so I could see that happening. But if Timo or Justin are not picked, I mean, that was one that I'm just like, I kind of could see it happening, you know. But outside of that,
definitely could. But like, Timo's also almost always available, so like it's not hard for Timo to. Except when he's being Tom, like Timo's almost always available.
Now Timo, like, what is it, Tomo or whatever? They have to play 2 games. Like they have to play 4 games in the first round. No, Timo has to get ready for school. Like he's a teacher, so he might not have that availability anymore.
His summer was the super available time, so yeah, that might be. That might. I mean, he's got to give the kids a test or something one day. He can just, you know. Fire off a pop quiz and
he's a music teacher. How do you give a test as a music teacher without having to pay attention? Come on.
There's ways. I don't know. I give me a minute to think this through, but I can come up with something.
You have 1 minute because we got to talk about the other big tournament that's going on right now, which is, of course, the Beautiful and Kind, the Mother's Day or the Mother's Month event. Right now, we have Greg Shaw in first. He has played 4 games. He's sitting at 4-0. Timo and Logan Pitig, Pitig, they are sitting at 3-3. DJ Jackson is at 6-8 or 2-6. Sorry.
Yeah.
And then Brad Kipple is 3-1, and Ryan Saracen is 3-0. So your teammate's doing really well, 3-0 already. We still all have 26 days to play in this. Go out and play. I mean, anybody who did register, who paid the entrance fee to this, thank you for doing it. It's a really good thing to do. I mean, your donation is going to a really good charity. So thank you, everybody who's doing it. And the prizes are pretty good.
I gotta sign up for this.
Yes, you do.
I spaced on it, but I'm gonna be in a hotel all next week, so.
Well, you've been spacing on a lot of things. Are you okay?
It's been a busy month. Yeah. Busy couple months with work, so we're getting there.
And I know that we have another event coming up this Saturday, which is the 4th event in our thematic Swiss GEP series events, or our, as I like to call them, the challenge for the deck blocks. This is the skirmish for Sidious. It's at 11 o'clock this Saturday, 11 o'clock Eastern, sorry. You can sign up to play in it until 8 a.m. the same day. So, I mean, 8 a.m. is not too early, is it for you, Connor? You could play.
Well, no, not too early, but yeah, just blocking off a morning is not the easiest thing for sometimes, but yeah, I would love to. But you know, for me, it's always just like if I can remind myself to make it happen. Usually, it's okay. I'm traveling this weekend. Otherwise, I'd be
That's fair.
doing. But
I'm
I did the second one. I'm forgetting what it was, but it was a lot of fun.
No, the Boba Fett was the first one, I think. No,
No.
Boba Fett was 2. Ahsoka was 1.
Yeah.
Granted, I can just look at it right now. Boba Fett was 3, Grievous was 2, and Ahsoka was 1. It's literally right on the screen next to me. But sign up for this one right now. It's $10 to play. You have a shot at winning a deck box. If we have enough people, there's multiple chances of getting a deck box. And right now, there's only 2 players that are signed up for it. Come on, we need everybody to sign up for this.
And one of them's me, so
yeah, that's an easy win right there.
You've got wins there,
and the other one is Chris Kelly. He's playing Hitco. Just take it for that.
So basically, you get 2 Hitcos locked in there because I haven't played anything else all summer. So.
Yeah, there you go. Just what beats Hitco? Everything.
Hunt Down is a coin flip. Like Hunt Down, it's who gets their battle cards first, and really whoever gets ahead tends to roll pretty hard. There's decks that beat Hitco, but there's no easy gimme. Oh, that'll definitely beat Hitco. And that's part of why Chris has been playing it. That's part of why I've been playing it. Like even decks that are not easy matchups for Hitco are still winnable. And you can never underestimate the just occasionally Nabron, Luke Obi, Wedge, or Luke Obi, Lando, and Hera in front of you, and you didn't have a Gick. Sorry. Like, it's a deck that can sometimes just pull those out.
Tom, I see you in the chat. I mean, you haven't said anything, but I see you watching. Play in the event. Go for your next deck box. Get all of them.
Get the complete set, Tom.
And for those who are interested in watching, I will be streaming a lot of the games, going full red zone, bouncing around as much as I can. So it's going to be a fun Saturday, as long as we get players.
Yeah.
Apparently, I'm an event. I don't know what that means. But last thing before we go into our full interview with Connor is we got some upcoming events still. This Saturday, we have the Now How to Super weekend out in Carmel, Indiana. Sunday is also the Coruscant Regionals out in Willow Grove. Next week, we have 3 events popping off. Tatooine Local in Longmont, Colorado. Georgia States in Marietta, Georgia. A Bespin Local in St. Paul. And then on the 22nd, we have the Chic Local out of Milford, Massachusetts. On the 21st, I know it's not on the graphic, but we have a Pittsburgh Local. It's going to be a Pittsburgh Cube event. So if you want to get down with the Cube, come out to Pittsburgh. We'll be drafting at a brewery. So incentives. And then the last weekend in October is the Endor Grand Prix. I know, Garrett, you're not going to go. Connor, are you going?
I don't think I'm going to be able to make it. It's a coin flip. We'll see. But I'm leaning towards no. My wife is due with our second kid at the end of in mid-November, so it's cutting it a little close. So we'll see.
And that's a valid reason. But congrats, by the way.
I mean, is it though? It's the second kid. You already know how it works, Connor. Like,
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even be changing time zones. I mean,
yeah, like, I mean, I've got 3 of them. I mean, after the first one, it's all the same. You've done this before. So,
well, okay.
Then after you end up divorced, you can play lots more Star Wars tournaments with half your stuff.
Oh, wow.
Okay. This is going in a great direction.
This is life advice from Garrett. That's our new show.
Yeah,
it's easy to dole out life advice when you're behind a black screen.
And then in November, on the first weekend of November, is the Columbus Super Weekend, also known as Omega Worlds. Go play in that. That's going to be fun. Like, the list of people who are going to that is crazy.
AJ and I are driving out Thursday.
I'm driving out Saturday morning.
We'll be in town.
Jealous of that one. That's going to be fun.
Actually, I might drive out Friday.
We'll be in town to check out Travis's basement on
Sounds so wrong.
It sounds like Travis's basement is going to just be packed on Friday. Like everybody is going to be in town
Friday,
to check
Saturday.
out this, this nerd cave, and it's going to be awesome.
And then November 12th is Dagobah Regionals out in Marietta, Georgia. Go to that too. Go to everything. Be a large pork and just go to everything. He's in the chat too. But yeah, go to all the events you can, everybody. Definitely going to be Eric Hawbaker is going to be out in Ohio for I'm guessing for Super Weekend. So that's one person. I know Garrett and AJ is going to be there. I'm going to be there. Kendall's going to be there. I hear Hayes is going to be there. So there goes regionals and stays for everybody.
I think Hayes and I think Bill.
Yeah.
Kafer's going to be there. Like it's
going to be fun.
I'm sure Brian Fred is going to be there for at least. I think he's going to be there for at least one game for Saturday, and then Sunday I think he might be there, and then just bouncing out a little early. He said something about going to a football game or something, but it's going to be Star Wars is so much fun when you play with your friends, and
what's that?
All of us are friends now, and just going to events and hanging out together is just such a blast.
And Tommy, you should get out there, Large Porg. You got to go to that. Tom, you got to come out to an event at some point too. And then I know Batmouse is holding SoCal or Scarif Regionals or
I think it's Nevada States he's running as well.
Yeah, he's running Nevada States out in Vegas. That's going to be fun. If you like getting it, yeah. So, but let's get into it with Connor. Talk about what we brought him on here for. I know we just rambled off about just stuff with the OCS and stuff, but we came to talking about playtesting and this new Walker objective. So, first of all, again, thank you for taking the reins, doing all the playtesting, getting people out there to playtest games. I know it's not an easy job, so big props on that. But yeah, I mean, you've been playtesting lead for over a year now, I think.
Yeah, this is the second set that I've been on a lead on. Yep.
So how has playtest how has it been? Like any how long have you been a playtester? Because I know you were a playtester obvious first.
Yeah, I'd been on the playtesting team maybe a year or two. Maybe longer, but I think since around like set 11 or so is when I came on board. But yeah, it's been going well. The everyone's busy and everyone has lives, so people can only contribute so much. So we're always looking for more playtesters. The passion if you have a passion for trying out new cards, or just want to help out in some way, it's a very fun way to get into the game. Like, what made me want to join playtesting originally is like, I would just like on those, release days when they would release a master list of a play set. I mean, a new virtual set. It was just like the thrill of that was so fun to just like scour through all the text and see what you could, start like theory craft, just reading it. And, when you're on playtesting, that's kind of a constant feeling because the master list of cards to test is constantly changing, and, cards are getting tweaked based off of feedback. It's a very, you get a lot of chance to just have a direct impact on how cards are shaped and released. So it's a great opportunity for that. But no, it's a lot of fun. You get to if there's a pet deck idea that is suddenly made viable by a card, you can do that. Other times it's really important. We'll give the playtesters prompts like, hey, it's really important that we test card A, B, and C and see it in this certain matchup. And so there are many ways to contribute, but yeah, the key is just, if you're on playtesting, try to get a few games in, get those reports in so that we can, contextualize the game and go from there. But no, it's a great opportunity to get back to the game.
So when you say like reports and stuff, are you talking about just like a full game report, like this
Yeah,
happened, you know?
yeah, we have a template that we suggest people stick to
Mm-hmm.
that just helps you summarize your thoughts. It's generally like, what cards did you play? How did they impact the game? Give a summary of the action and a link to the GEMP replay, stuff like that. Just
Okay.
something that puts everything in one place, and it doesn't have to be overly exhaustive or anything. Just it's an opportunity for you to give your thoughts and
Mm-hmm.
immediate um, thoughts on how the game went based on the cards.
And I think you mentioned like one of the things about playtesting is you get to see the stuff that's coming on down the pipe before a lot of people. Um, and is that a? I know that's partially a benefit. Are there any other benefits to being a playtester?
It's funny. You mentioned like just getting a preview of the cards. Well, it is nice. It is nice to know, have an idea of what's coming. But I found that every set I've been a part of, until those cards are officially released in GEMP, though I don't fully get those. I don't fully see how things can combo together,
Mm-hmm.
because I think part of it is just because it's a constantly evolving thing. So you never lean in too hard to one idea. You obviously see things that could be strong and could be really good. So because that's the whole point, is to try and identify those things so they don't come out too strong or too good. But yeah, I think in some ways it's an advantage, but it can also be a little bit of at the same time, I feel like sometimes I'll see a new card and then it won't get changed, and then you just kind of like lose
Mm-hmm.
that newness to it and just kind of gets lost in the fold. A lot of times, honestly, sometimes when we have to like correct the power level of cards, it's usually a card that had been like a carryover from multiple sets and just didn't get released. And then it's like, okay, we're finally going to release this. And then it's like, oh, wait, this card wasn't powerful 2 sets ago, but suddenly with where the meta is now, it's really, really good.
Yeah.
So there's definitely it's not a foolproof process, but the more people we have doing it, the more you can you know it might not be a new card to someone who's been on playtesting for 2 sets, but it would be for someone who's just joining. So
Mm-hmm. Has that happened a lot where there's a card that's in development, and it doesn't start out like it's going to impact the meta in a weird way or a good way, like a strong way, and then boom, it comes out like it's almost ready to go out. It's like, oh, this is really too strong, or has that happened?
yeah, it definitely happens. But I mean, usually it's not like all that dramatic. And you want cards, we're not releasing cards so that they'll just be binder fodder. We're releasing cards so that they'll see play and impact the meta and
Mm-hmm.
improve the game. But sometimes it's just like, oh wow, this is way better than we realized. The thing that first comes to mind is I can't believe he's gone. V. I mean, that card put Obi Muning on the map.
Yeah.
But for like 2 or 3 sets, it was just kind of sitting there, and it was just people were just like, this card's just not really moving the needle for me. And again, I don't know. It's always a combination of things that make a card suddenly good again. But that card definitely was released and clearly reshaped the entire meta for multiple events. So
Yeah.
it was just not to say that's a bad thing at all. Like you know, it's exciting to see cards have an impact and keep that challenge of having to keep solving the puzzle and how to build a deck that can beat it. But yeah, no, that definitely caught me off guard. I was like, whoa, I do not remember this
Yeah.
card so good.
And
So
it's funny. Our resident savant of a playtester, Tom Strother, just posted in the chat saying it didn't help that 90% of the OB playtesting games were against nines, and he just was killing stuff with forced choke and forced
mhm,
lightning every game.
mhm. Well, speaking of Tom has been. You might be able to imagine he's a playtester, and he's been by far our most prolific contributor. Um, And we are very, very thankful for that. But even then, Tom has decks that he will play and he likes to play and he knows have a high power level. So he's going to come at play testing from seeing how those decks stack up against new cards and how the new cards will help those decks. So as prolific as one person can be, no one can catch everything. So just another plug. If you're interested, please join. It's really fun, and the more people we have, the better the sets are going to be. And you get to join the playtesting Slack, which is a lot of fun.
How does a person join and become a playtester?
It's really easy.
We got people asking. They think of that in their head right now.
Yeah, just PM me on Slack or the forums. I don't check the forums as much as I should, but when I see the notification, I'll get back to you. And I'll ask you a few questions about what interests you about it, and and then once the new cards are ready to test, or sometimes before, we'll get you in there. So it's pretty easy. Like a lot of times, people will, current play testers will come to me and be like, "Oh man, I'm sorry I haven't been play testing much, if you need to drop me, that's fine." And sometimes we do need to just like trim, prune the list just so it's it's manageable. But unless you're being super neglectful or whatever, or just I don't know, I'm not looking to like kick you out. So it's a friendly environment. We just ask that you respect the Fight Club rules, which all that means is what's in playtesting stays in playtesting, and as long as you get a few games in and don't break Fight Club rules, everything's copacetic.
I think we're putting Garrett to sleep.
No, you're doing such a good job on the interview. I don't want to interrupt. You guys are being interesting, so I'm going to sit quietly and listen because you guys are doing it's the playtesting, and having been involved in it many years ago.
Yeah.
It's a commitment sometimes in time, and the folks who can do it are awesome. And the fact that the PC's gotten the process down so much that we're really just, need some games. Like it's not a put in 20 or 30 games, and it's not, print these out and hand build the decks anymore. Like Gempa being available as a method is just so good that it's awesome, and I love that everyone who's doing it and has the time commitment to put into it. So
I do gotta ask, is there anything exciting that's coming down the pipeline? You don't have to say what it was. Just, is there anything that excites you?
Absolutely. I mean, one of the cool things about since I've become the playtesting lead is I've gotten more insight into the design team's machinations and what they've got cooking up. So like at any given time, there are, dozens and dozens and dozens of cards that are just in development and are not, ready to be tested in any given playtesting set. But a lot of times they'll make it into like future sets. So, right now there's already a list of potential cards for set 23, but we haven't even begun to play test them yet. So, yeah, there are a lot of exciting things coming down the pike, and there's a lot to look forward to without giving anything away.
You mentioned set 23. Any idea when we're gonna see it?
No idea. That's more of a Chris Kelly question for sure.
That's fair.
But you get a good sense of I would say every set's different. There's no set's the same. Some sets you'll be playtesting for months. Other sets will have a faster turnaround, and you don't have as much time. So, but once Chris Kelly starts mumbling about and starts like updating things and updating certain Slack channels, like, oh, okay, the gears are spinning, things are going to start moving soon. So, but yeah, things are quiet on the Western Front right now. I'm sure Chris Kelly and the rest of the team is enjoying the break, because they were absolutely grinding to the finish line.
Yeah, and being a part of the graphics team and stuff, working with them and everything, just seeing how Chris and design was with set 22.
Hmm.
Oof, I have not seen people grind like designing a set like this in a while. So be thankful, everybody. Like this was like they were very, very, very patient with this one, and
Yeah.
I think that actually, and honestly, like I think that speaks volumes to the design process at this point. Like, I think we have a good design team, and overall, I mean, yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of cards in set 22 that I feel like are going to shake up the meta like very violently, like we saw with communing, with some of the Skywalker stuff, um, with like Shadow, like nothing like that. I think that these new objectives, for example, are it's going to be a building process. Like they're going to see how they we're going to see how they run, see how they do, and they could, it's a process. Let me.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm again, I don't want to speak for the whole process as a whole because I'm just on one side of it. But I do think I would imagine the general goal is when you release a bunch of new stuff, especially like objectives, and sets of cards like that. You want it to be fun to play and good, but you never want to release anything that feels too good, or at least I don't like to release anything that feels too good, even on like the playtesting front, because if it feels good, like too good at our stage, then once the community has a chance to really mess around with it, it can only get better from there. So I think a great. I feel really comfortable when I can see how there would be other cards that would make a certain thing better that just don't exist yet. Because then it's like, okay, and there's opportunities for making something better on the line if design wishes it to be so, without having to give a deck everything it needs at once to just be gangbusters out of the gate.
I
But
much, much prefer that as a player. Like, I definitely like being able to see the game build and the deck build and try lots of things and make sure we didn't miss something that just comes out insane. And I love the idea of, yeah, bring everything in as tier 2 and then see what it needs and see if we missed something with how it plays, if somebody else creates a more interesting idea we hadn't thought of type thing. So I'm a big fan.
And people going out there and playing as the decks come live, in a way they're still playtesters. I mean, that's one of the nice things about our game versus something like that's actually being printed by a company. It's kind of easy to correct any quote unquote mistakes. I mean, yes, there is I do realize that people have like sort of like a fatigue when it comes to erratas. Not everybody wants to see an errata just like off the like here like I have heard people express that, but on the flip side, like if something's destroying the meta, fix it.
yeah, I mean, it's really impressive to me, honestly, how I don't know, nimble isn't the right word, but just how quick um competitive balance and design can be
Mm-hmm.
when they spot something. Like right before Worlds, they realized that ROPS and OA had just people weren't excited about facing it and prepping for it, and they did what they did, and I think it was a universally nearly universally beloved change. So it's like
Yeah.
I I don't know. I don't think the PC gets enough credit for how much work they do and how much listening they do. I mean,
Yes.
they obviously can't field every complaint and listen to change everything that everyone wants, but that doesn't mean they're not listening and taking it in. Um, yeah,
Sorry, I'm not laughing at what you're saying. I'm laughing at what I'm reading. Tom's just being Tom, but I'm sorry, Connor.
No, it's okay. Tom's gonna Tom. But no, yeah, my overall point is, you know, the PC listens, and you know, when there's a chance for you know, a solid back and forth, I think, you know, there's an opportunity to be heard, and I think that's one of the cool things about our game. It's like we are a community, we are building this game together, and you know, it's a unique opportunity to play at something that you care so much about, but also have a chance to, you know, see the end result.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So why don't we get into talking about the newest dark side, the newest great dark side objective, which is the shield doors will soon be open. Better known as
Shield
the walkers.
doors.
Or the shield will be down in moments. The shield will be down in moments.
Yeah. So, yeah, as you mentioned, I had a chance to be on this. This started as a design pod, and it had, you know, this objective had been in production for like 2+ years. I saw some cards released a few sets ago with the 4th marker, the virtual Blizzard one. So like some things trickled out along the way, but it you know, we had a lot of time to cook, and I think we're all pretty happy with how it turned out.
So, who was in the pod? Like, are we allowed to know that?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think that is proprietary information. Adam Trunzo, and then Echo Base Trooper EBT, and I. Those were the main volunteers, and then there was a lot of design oversight. Chris Kelly was constantly involved. Matthew Harrison Trainer helped guide things along. Ryan Jellison at times. Gosui, I think I'm pronouncing that. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Helped get us along. A lot of people from design weighed in, and Drew Lichtenstein, Coffee Pass. So yeah, it's you know, a lot of hands went into making this what it was. But yeah, this was definitely something that we were, you know, really excited to be tapped to help out with. So I trying to remember how that started. I think there was just a general application to be involved in a design pod, and I think you had a chance to say what sort of themes you would like to work on at the time. I think that's probably how they, you know, design figured out who should go on what.
And I'm gonna guess that you went with something that evolved around, like, I don't know, episode 8.
No, I definitely was into the. I mean, I've always loved walkers. You know, just the big Imperial war machine type stuff. But you know, I'd played enough with it to know, or well, think, you know, have an idea of what it suffers against, and you know, what its weaknesses are.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a great opportunity to just kind of theory craft and cook up some ideas. And my gosh, I'm trying to look through the forums and see how many posts there were. Like, yeah, almost like over 1,000 posts. Oh my gosh, no, way more than that. Oh no, sorry, I'm looking at views. Yeah, posts. There's over 500 posts of like back and forth of what things should be and ideas and everything. It was really fun.
So you said it was in development for 2 years. Was that from the start of the pod to where it is now?
Yeah. So I mean, but this is just kind of the process, how the process goes. You know, the cards themselves were in the play tester's bucket of cards to test for many potential sets. But you know, part of design and play and competitive balance's job is to figure out what cards are going to be, you know, when cards should be released based off of what the meta is and all that stuff. So yeah, so some of our cards, like I mentioned, got released a few sets ago, and then for whatever reason, this was the set where it was like, okay, let's get this spot is ready. Let's get these cards out.
Okay, so like, what was the big challenge for this deck? Because I mean, walkers. I mean, we had a walker objective back in Legacy. I know you weren't part of that era. Garrett, I believe you saw the old walker deck, right?
Yeah, I was around for the old walkers and speeders decks, and they were different.
They were decks.
Yeah,
they were things like that's that whole era is honestly just best not spoken about because the power creep was.
I mean,
I just pulled up an old V-slip I kind of want to use in Hitco and see if anyone notices. It was the Luke Rebel Scout that deployed free to Endor and had all his other stuff, but it was just a straight free Jedi to Endor.
Yeah.
Like,
incredible.
So,
yep.
There were some design decisions that, in retrospect, could have been done better. And I think, I'm honestly super happy that a lot of the decisions that were made in this deck, there was no like, oh, well, we need to redo what was already there. Like, nope, we're going to make a new deck.
I mean, so
and not worry about that one.
It wasn't, honestly, like the speeder one was the worst. Was the worst between the two. I felt like, at least out of the gate.
Oh, you're talking about the one?
The which one?
Oh, the old virtual.
Yeah, version? Yeah. The local. Eric was in the chat. Was the local uprising V, and then we have Justin Desai saying that. We're missing. Yeah, local uprising. It was local uprising. I think was the card. Because I know Imperial occupation was the dark side one, but I know then there was another local uprising V. So, but we're getting legacy talk. Yeah. That. I mean, I kind of liked it at first, but then I realized this is too strong. So, but I'm really glad to see that you guys didn't take it that way. That you went something completely different.
Yeah, I mean, there were so many ideas that we went through that tried to mitigate things that walkers could get. Like for one thing, there are so many Hoth set cards that do things with like Nightfall and can just like make interacting on Hoth an absolute nightmare. So we wanted to make sure right out of the gate we were limiting the opportunity to do NPE stuff like that. The other thing that we kept running up against was like the idea that, for most until you blow away the generators, your third marker is under the shield. Yeah. So you, as dark side, you can't actually deploy there until you can only move in there. So at various points in time, the epic event, which I'm really happy with how that turned out. I'll speak to that in a second. But right now, what it does is it deploys on the fifth marker and marches with you as you get closer to the first marker. There were times when that suspended the shield at the site it was at, and then it was deemed that was a little too good. So, it's just like, the benefit of it being in playtesting for so long is there was just tons of time to work through all this stuff. Yeah. So, I definitely think it landed at a spot that's, at a reasonable power level and still lets walkers be walkers.
So I will ask one question after playing it twice. Do you feel the deck is a little slow?
I would say that's definitely a big drawback to it. And that was not an accident. We wanted it to be powerful. We wanted it to be hard to overcome. It should be hard to overcome a bunch of AT-ATs with laser with cannons, but at the same time, the biggest thing we didn't want to have happen was it just be too easy to set up and not give light side any time to fortify their forests if they did want to go after you, so that you just could spit a bunch of walkers out for cheap. Yeah, at one point walkers deployed for -1. That was really, really good. There was one thing point that let you look at it was basically an ascension guns whenever you deployed a walker. So you could look at the top 2 cards of your reserve deck, take one into hand. So that
This
was
is
like a way
good.
to mitigate using so much force to put stuff out, but keep your hand fresh. And that was too good. So, there are definitely things we came across that were like, wow, this makes this deck strong. But at the end of the day, we didn't want to go crazy with it, and we didn't want to, if the deck needs some stuff like that down the line, then that's up to design to see if
That's fair.
there's a pool of ideas that we can pull from. But for now, yeah, we wanted it to feel thematic and that you're marching towards the first marker. We wanted to make sure that the epic event prevented you from just deploying to the 4th marker and then going to the 3rd marker right away. That's why it has the 4th marker has the game text that prevents you from deploying there on your first turn.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things we came up with a long time ago, and that got released before the objective. It's kind of funny because then we came up with the idea of deploying the epic event on the 5th marker, making that text a little less relevant, but it is what it is. Still prevents you from getting a head start on deploying to the Hoth, the 3rd marker. But anyway, so yeah, so it just was. There's a lot of ideas, and yeah, and I don't think I've emphasized this enough at this point. Adam Fletcher, Echo Base Trooper, there were so many times when we were just in the weeds and just keeping things going because we were passionate about it. And EBG, who doesn't need to be said, but people know this, but it needs to be said. The amount of work that guy did behind the scenes for GEMP, for the different design pods he was on, just for everything. It was amazing he was able to help out as much, and it just wouldn't have been the same without him. I had so many ridiculously overpowered ideas, and
Not surprised.
Yeah, and one thing that I really enjoyed working with Adam about was he brought such a unique perspective to things to keep things grounded, not just from a power level perspective, but from what a Star Wars card should be. Like one of the hills he died on was keeping the text limit length on the epic event to 8 lines, so that graphics didn't have to Photoshop the card, the text space to be bigger. And it was really important to him that
Thank you, Adam.
And it was really, at times I was like, what? Come on, man. If we just could add one more line, we could do this really cool thing.
See, yeah. And I mean, I know he retired, and I know him spending more time with his family. I'm not going to fault him in the least for that.
No, the guy was...
But it's not going to be the same game without him.
It won't be the same. Hopefully we'll get him here and there, but no, his efforts are already being sorely missed, and that's not to take away from anything that the team is doing right now.
I was going to say your teammates with him.
Yeah, I know. That was he was one of the first members of our team.
Yeah,
was one of the first members of our team. So
no more really good data on all the other teams for you guys to use now.
Well, to Adam's credit, he never gave us anything that he didn't give the whole.
Oh, I mean, I'm not saying that. I'm saying like he probably had like specific stuff that he created for the team to help you guys.
Oh yeah, his numbers, his what, I don't know what you'd call them in like the world of Excel, but like the charts and pulling data here and there. It was pretty great. He was really skilled at that for sure.
Oh, no doubt.
So, I mean, this is a really good time now that we've finished singing Adam's praises. Again, we talked about it with playtesting. Volunteer, people. And don't just worry about, can you volunteer? Can you do enough to volunteer? Do you, is the PC looking for what you do? Like, if you know how to do something, offer it. we'll find a spot.
I mean,
Like,
look at Garrett.
you know,
He knows how
yeah,
to talk.
this is all I'm good at. And like they were like, hey, we'll make this happen. You can work with Dan. And some people call that punishment. Some people call it volunteerism. I don't know what to really go with it. But like
being voluntold, that's what it was.
Kind of.
Yeah.
But like seriously, if you have a skill, have a something you say, hey, you know, maybe I can help the PC with this, like always reach out. Like we passionate volunteers keep this game alive and running, and that is how we do things. And like, you know, Adam leaving, there's no one's replacing Adam with one person.
Nope.
So that we have people who have some of those skills, and what Adam did was super awesome. Like all that data he put together, everything he put together, like, so if you can do some of that, like volunteer.
Yeah. And just to jump off of that, Garrett, it's like, you know, in Adam's case with, you know, Adam became, you know, one of the most, the leading contributors to GEMP's code base. That he did not know the coding language behind GEMP when he started. It was just something he knew of and enough to just start tinkering around and look into it and see if he could, you know, just make cards happen. And he just learned on the job, and he became one of the leading developers on the project. So it's like, even if you don't have a skill yet, if it's a skill you're interested in, like Star Wars cards is kind of a great opportunity to just like develop some of these ideas or skills that you may have wanted. So it's a good opportunity for all sorts of things.
Not wrong. So Connor, you recently you just gave us an example of this deck. So why don't we get into that? Let's delve into like a deck that Connor, like one of the decks that Connor would play. So we have an Walker deck that you gave us. I'm going to show it on the screen right now. So let's see. So what are your starting cards, and why did you decide to use those? Well, obviously, I mean.
So this deck is starting. So this is another thing that we, you know, took a long time to land on. But one of the questions was if the objective should get an extra effect, which is prepare for a surface attack V. And we kind of landed on the deck just needs a lot. You know, it needs a number of effects, and so giving it the thing that makes them able to blow up the first marker to begin with seemed like a reasonable include. So that's an automatic effect. So the other three effects this deck starts: code clearance, inconsequential losses, or is that superficial damage? I can't remember. And
losses.
Then and then you may start your landing. What's kind of funny is you know, you may start your landing is, you know, still an important card for the deck, but because your objective now pulls locations, there's a world where you might not have to start that effect. You can just kind of play it and save it for later. But I haven't messed around with that. I don't know if that's necessarily good. But anyway, those are the three. And the reason it's good is because high forfeit values with Imperial, Destiny 3 Imperials has obviously been proven good by Thrawn already and many other decks. Inconsequential losses is a cornerstone of like a lot of decks like Shadow Collective, and this deck gets to play both. So that's what it's doing there. Just lets you recycle those cannons, keep them around, and yeah, you know, like the I haven't gotten this specific version of this deck on the table. But one advantage that the deck has is it pulls all of its locations. So, you know, the Hoth system might not always go out every game, but it's there if you want it and need it. But yeah, I think generally speaking, your first turn is getting the epic event out, pulling some locations. If Lightside gives you an icon, maybe you'll put Veers out too. With his walker and start marching him over, put a little pressure on Lightside if they you know, maybe coax them into a bad decision. But yeah, the idea is like the deck spends a lot of force and doesn't draw a lot of cards. So I wanted a lot of the cards here to be either pullable or be pulling other things. So that's why you see like Imperial Code Cylinder. One of the funny things about that I'm feeling with the deck right now is, Hoth SSA, I mean, fifth marker SSA was at times when I was playing it running 5 commands just to make sure you got Veers. The new Garrison gets you Veers out of the gate. So that really opens up some card space, and Imperial Command is still obviously one of the greatest cards, so you want to play it, but you don't necessarily have to run a bunch of them. So there's so many things that are grabbable in this deck. So I felt it was, reasonable to play fewer, but your miles may vary. That may end up being 3. But yeah, no, the idea here is just get your Imperials out and make it hard for them to come at you, and and hope you can just kind of like block some of their damage, and while racking up pings and damage of your own.
So with the deck that you showed us, I have just a few questions. Like the biggest thing that I see is you're only playing one ability 4 or greater character. How does Master Luke how does this deck handle Master Luke?
Yes, Master Luke is a pain. He's less of a pain now than he was. Blizzard Scout 1 was kind of an MVP there. But one of the funny things about walkers is from what I've how I play anyway, it doesn't always want to fight. Sometimes it's happy just squatting in front of you and forcing you to clear it. And so if you have Blizzard Scout 1 out, you can you can threaten with that, and then Vader is obviously good. Depending on the meta, you might want more ability 4 characters for sure. This one's just built around getting as many Imperial ability 3 Imperials out there. But yeah, there's just a lot of synergy. Piet pulls, I think, 3 different characters here. Command and Code Cylinders pulling stuff. And one of the fun things about Death Squadron assignments is the loss function lets you deploy any Imperial to a Hoth site. Well, a site with a Hoth icon, actually. That's kind of a funny distinction because the 6 marker doesn't have a Hoth icon, weirdly. I think it was a special edition card or something like that. So
I think it was the
it's
2-player
the Hoth
premiere.
2-player game.
Thank you, Garrett.
There it is. So
that and Walker Garrison were the Hoth 2-player. The reason
cool
to go buy that at your local Toys R Us back when Toys R Us was a thing and I was young. So
wait, they had Toys R Us back then?
Quiet you.
Now I know you also got a Walker in that as well. The other thing is, how does this scanning the new scanning card, scanning tech?
Scanner text?
Scanner text, yeah. Doesn't that really hurt these Destiny 3 Imperials? Or the ability 3 Imperials?
It definitely can and does. One thing that kind of is interesting is it can only go on a battleground. So if there's a prolonged fight at the 3rd marker before you flip, your Destiny values are protected there because it can't, because it's shielded. Once the shield generators are exploded, that is no longer the case. But there is a little bit of counterplay there in that as long as they're contesting 3rd marker, you're safe for a while. But no, it's definitely I think honestly that card. I mean, it's funny. It's funny how different cards shape the meta and allow other things to thrive. But I do think the existence of that card made this deck be able to be released at all. So
that's fair.
No, it's funny. It's funny how certain things impact other design decisions and open up space for new decks.
And why Mithron Renudo over Grand Admiral Thrawn V?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think both are totally viable. I like this one just because he's pullable by Piet. He has a higher, forfeit value with code clearance, And a lot of times, like I mentioned, you're not always looking to fight. So he can be really good to just position either at Hoth or on a
Yeah,
marker
that's a
site
good point.
and ping people as they just try and avoid your super powerful loaded up walkers. So he can be good.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I mean there's probably there's definitely 5-ish cards plus that can be swapped out. You could go higher destiny with more
Yeah.
artilleries. You could do all sorts of stuff. But one of the things I liked about this was, again, you can pull deflector shield generators and put it on your Star Destroyer to make it power. I think it's +2, and then Mahdi adds 2. So one Star Destroyer, just one Imperial on it is super. I mean, so yeah, there's some nice combos here. I think of all the Walker decks I've tried to build with this objective, this is probably the slowest. So against something like that can spread really quickly and rack up damage just like with like nicks and cuts.
I was
It's
going to
gonna
say
have
QMC this is not fun to play against with QMC.
no, usually I'm running a couple of code clearances. I mean, sorry, Endor occupation combos to just buy you some time with the retrieval. And honestly, that probably should be back in here. But I kind of thought with Decree killing their bonuses in heavier space, you can keep them occupied in space a little bit more than you otherwise might be able to with a normal Walker deck. So or an SSA deck or something. So I don't know, there might be some counterplay opportunities there.
I do like the laser cannon battery against like their wild card.
Yeah, I could see like a ninth or a seventh sister or something being in this. Like if you recycle the laser cannon battery, getting that back and threatening that immediately again, that could be nice.
Yeah. Oh.
But I mean, the other thing is like this doesn't have to be an Imperial only deck. The restriction on it is that you can't play Dark Jedi except for Vader. So you can have annoying bounty hunters or like I don't know, like Shizor probably could fit into this.
That's a good, yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, Shizor is a nice combo with the Walker who reduces a character's power and makes them not be able to apply their ability towards battle destiny, because they could have a loaded sight and suddenly that comes down, and Shizor, who requires you to have ability 6, and once you hit their like ability 4 person, now they're at ability 5 or something. So that can be kind of a nice combo too.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can see some of the combos with this one. Like I am glad to see that you're playing Tarkin's Bounty over Force Push.
Yeah, Force Push, I was running 2 with my Worlds deck, so it probably belongs here. But
the new one's fun.
But yeah,
I was gonna say I might actually go the new one. You only have the one Dark Jedi, so you're never using the secondary text.
Yep,
100%. Yeah,
so I'll go with the new one.
Yep.
So you know what? I think we're gonna do the first deck building challenge that we've seen in a long time.
Ooh, fun.
So,
Troopers?
I was going to say we build. I'm going to post Connor's deck to the forums, and I'm going to allow people to change out. How many cards you think we should allow to change out? I was going to say 6.
I like
10% sounds good. 6 sounds good.
Yeah.
So you can change out 6 cards, any cards you want, out of this deck. And I'm going to say, as long as you post a win in any format that is a tournament-based format, so any open, it cannot be a casual game. That's the only restriction. Put in some Wampas. You're playing the freaking Wampa Cave.
I know. It was
I love it.
Getting the Wampa Cave pullable from the objective was definitely something we fought for, because we wanted that to be an option. We wanted Wampas.
We want Wampas, people. No, so you can change out any 6 cards, go out, play it, post the link. And post your deck, obviously, and then at the end of the month, we'll pull a winner. So, yeah, we'll go through the end of the month, and then that Thursday after Halloween, we'll announce the winner. Bonus points if a Wampa eats someone.
100%.
Double entry.
I was going to say, if a Wampa eats someone, you'll get a special prize.
Well, Wampa eats anyone, or Wampa eats an opponent's character?
Opponent's character.
Okay, because like I can make one or just Wampa.
I mean, no, that's not the same. That is not the same, and you know it.
But if you don't say it,
I know Tom will do it twice. Tom will do it.
Tom will have one arm eat a Wampa just to show.
But that's not a someone. That's a creature.
And there's Sursen coming. Damn it! So,
thank you.
Ryan saw the same thing I did. Like, I can make a Wampa eat anybody.
Yeah,
those are hungry little furballs. We can make this happen.
I love the thought process people like thinking. If you win, you'll get a special card. Anybody who enters will get something. I'm going to see if we can get you either a Gemp AI pack. Yeah, anybody who enters is going to get a Gemp AI pack. I'll make sure Batmouse and Jared know about that.
I think we should do a Hoth pack too.
Ooh.
Just because.
I was actually going to do that. I was going to make, see if I could do, either a Hoth pack or do a repack.
Do a Hoth pack on Gemp. Like, if you enter, you get a Gemp Hoth pack.
I was going to take some Hoth pack, cards myself, put them into a pack, and hand them to somebody.
That would work too, but I was thinking just put it on Gemp.
Well, I was going to say...
I wasn't going to volunteer you to send cards out, but whatever.
Well, I was going to send them to Jared. He can do it. He's got everybody's address. But no,
Jared adds one more thing to his never-ending list of things to send out.
I got to send him the Holotheatre packs anyways. So it's not like I got to make them first. But yeah, let's get into your V card challenge, Connor.
Okay.
So said this off screen, but you're not going to be doing a lore challenge. We're going to be doing a what card is underneath this V card. So the rules are you'll have 45 seconds to determine what is the underlying card of the V card. Once the card pops up on the screen, and I'm assuming you're watching right now, right?
Twitch?
Yeah, yes. You don't have to. I'm going to tell you what the card is. And okay. As long as you tell me what the card is in 45 seconds, you'll win.
Okay, but if it's on Twitch, it won't give it away.
Yeah, if it's on Twitch, it will not give it away. I blank out the bottom text of it every time. So, believe me, I try to make it easy as I can, but it's not going to be that easy.
Bring it on.
Okay. Let me pull up the timer.
Oh, a timer and everything, man.
Yeah, these are...
Dan is professional about this.
Yeah.
You'd just get me humming the Jeopardy theme song, so Dan's way is way better.
Okay. Your card for tonight is the new starship for Darkseid. The Night Blizzard. The Night Buzzard. What is it, Garrett? I can't remember.
Oh, boy.
I have no idea.
Hold on, let me...
I haven't built a deck with it yet, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's the Night Buzzard.
I wish I were like JNap, who prints and builds every card. I
was going to say, when a new set comes out, I print them on my special paper. It's a little thicker than normal paper. And I get the card that's underneath of it, and I put it into a binder, just so I have it. I'll give you a hint. You're at 10 seconds of one hint. It is not a starship.
That's not a very good hint.
Okay, fine. It's from... okay. Would you like the set or the type of card that is underneath? I forgot to give you that hint. I'll do another
Let's do
45 seconds too.
Let's do the type of card.
Creature.
Oh, Bogwing.
I was gonna say Minoc. It feels like something buzzard and flying-y.
It's a Bogwing.
Nicely done.
Dark side Bogwing,
right?
yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. Wow. I can't believe I got that, honestly, but it was the hint that did it.
I kind of figured as soon as you said you went the set or the type, I figured the set would have thrown you off completely. I was hoping you would have gone with the set, but yeah, as soon as you said, I was like, "No, good job. I'm very proud."
I didn't think I was going to get it.
I honestly, that is my fault. I did forget to give you the option of set or type at the beginning. It's been a while since I've done one of these, so.
No, you got me there. Thanks, buddy.
But yeah, that's all. Again, that's all we have for our show. Again, I want to thank Connor. It's a pleasure to have you on. I do hope that you end up going to the Indoor Grand Prix. I know that you said you're a coin flip leaning towards no, but it would be great to see you up there.
Coin flip where the no side is very, very big.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I tease you about it, be with your wife.
Yeah.
You know, take care of your kids. Like, Star Wars will be there.
All right, I guess. Fine.
When when the kid turns 18 and you finally have freedom again.
Yeah. Are you sure about that, Garrett?
I am, because I retired because I was too busy with my kid stuff, and now I'm back because they're old enough to fend for themselves. So
here's a question. Do you think it's okay to hire Johnny Chu's kids to coach my kids?
I have zero problem with that. I think that's an excellent idea. I wish you would have said that about a second earlier, because we would have gotten to see Dan do a spit take.
Yeah. 100%. I've lost to Johnny Chu's kids recently in an OCS game, so
I am still immune to children, and it was a very close, OCS game last month.
Do you count AJ or Logan, who are underage?
AJ is not underage. AJ is like 22.
Okay, Logan.
That's just underage because I'm old. Logan is like 17 now. He's not really a child anymore. So I think what I've said is I'm immune to children younger than mine, and my youngest is 15. So
Ryan says he'll defend the team title without you, Connor.
Yeah.
Ryan, who's your teammate going to be? That's the next question.
I think Ryan's just going to play both games at the same time.
I was going to say, because I'm looking for a teammate. Ryan, let's go. Collaboration.
He said he was going to defend the title, Dan.
Yeah.
Whoa. Time out. What's in the middle right there? That's a Worlds Team Tournament mug.
There you go.
So I don't want to hear it. I've actually won stuff.
Amen to that.
Who carried you to that one?
Brad Reinhold. Hey, I went 2-1. He went 3-0.
Hey, a win's a win.
Yeah.
You know, no one asks for a doctor's GPA. You got this.
Yeah. But again, Connor, thank you for joining us. Garrett, thank you for being behind your black veil of
secrecy. I'm in a secluded underground bunker. No one can know where I am.
Yeah, you're in the underground bunker that's below the Jawa chambers, the Jawa Council chambers.
It's a tough life, but I'm handling it. So yeah, Connor, thanks a lot for coming out.
Yeah, guys.
Thanks everybody for watching.
Next week, we're going to have Joe Olson on to talk about the OCS as well as the Outrider Cup. That's going to be a good one. So our current 15 seed when it comes down to the OCS. So make sure you tune into that one. And then in a couple of weeks, we'll be live from Seattle. That's going to be always fun. Maybe we'll talk about the Sakajawa again. So until then, everybody have a good rest of your week. Enjoy your weekend. And may the force be with you. Good night, everybody.